Alcohol and the holidays. Alcohol and the holidays. They go hand in hand, right? Hey girl, welcome back to another episode of Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar. And today I have a very special guest coming in. Once again, one of my favorite guests, Olga Geissler. We're going to talk all about navigating the holidays and alcohol, or with or without alcohol. But first, I wanted to remind you that we are gearing up again for the next Rock That Fitness Kickstart Challenge. Rock That Fitness 6-week Kickstart Challenge is going to be happening in the middle of January, but you want to get on the wait list right now. So if you have to pause this right now, pause it, go to the show notes, click on the link and get yourself on the wait list. Only those that are on the wait list are going to get our bonuses and our discounts to kick off that 6 weeks. This is where we're going to walk you step by step, taking out all of the guesswork for your fat loss, for your strength training, to build muscle, gain strength, really lose inches, really learn how to do this the right way for the long term, for your fit lifestyle, not just rapid fat loss. Okay, so get yourself on that wait list. If you have been waiting to do this, we're going into round 8 in January, kicking off 2025. This is your year, girl. Get on the list. Let's do it. Okay, back to our show. I'm super pumped about this episode. Olga and I have talked about alcohol many times. I think, gosh, I don't even know how many times. At least 3 different episodes. She has come on. She is an expert in this field, and we want to educate you, inform you, help you know exactly the things that people don't talk about when it comes to alcohol, your health, and your fitness, especially after the age of 40, how it's impacting you and how you might want to do things differently this year during this holiday season and alcohol. So totally enjoyed this time with Olga and this whole discussion. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Let's dive in. My dear, dear friend, Olga Geissler. I said it right today. I know I did.
Yay!
So today we're super excited. I'm going to be bringing this episode to discuss all the things that are concerning us women, especially over 40 when it comes to alcohol and the holidays. And I just know you are going to get so much out of what we discussed today. So without even spending any more time on this introduction, let's dive in. Olga, welcome back to the podcast. You are one of my all-time favorites of all people on the planet, and I'm so glad. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Anna, for having me again. I love you and I love coming to your podcast.
Thank you. Well, I love you too. I'm just going to remind our listeners that you and I met in a group online. Gosh, it's been over a year now, and you had a huge positive impact in my life during that time. I had experimented without alcohol different times, but you actually, I believe, helped me get over this, whatever this hump was, this little thing, to finally decide that I didn't want to drink alcohol anymore, which was huge. And it had nothing to do with an all or nothing mentality that I had to also process and work through. So Olga, I just want my listeners to know that you and I are both nurses. You're a nurse, and you are actually an expert in this whole thing about alcohol, and especially when it comes to women and alcohol and their relationship with alcohol on a daily basis. And you are a coach that helps women to navigate not drinking alcohol or moderating alcohol, these kind of things. And so I thought it would be such a great idea because we know statistically that during the holidays, that's when people tend to drink the most alcohol. Like, it's just a statistic. It's true. And we don't need to get into all those numbers and everything. I don't want to talk about that. I really want to talk about the main concerns that women have surrounding alcohol. But first, let's back it up. Let's get a little personal. I haven't talked to you in a bit. What's going on with you? Anything new? What's the latest? By the way, I want you to know something. Yesterday, I thought about you all day. Because you and I have been talking about our injuries and limitations and things that we've been overcoming and processing and working through. And you're having some hip issues, right? Yeah, you didn't
Yes,
really wanna talk
yes.
about that. You don't have to if you don't want
Oh,
to.
no, no. I want to talk about it because I think we're all kind of silent about our issues and only put, not all of us, but a lot of us, put all only perfect images on social media. And I actually love talking about like issues and aches and pains and
Yeah, they're real.
whatever, yeah, the real human experience.
That's right.
And I have been dealing with some growing pain, hip pain, and got some diagnoses, and some joint replacement is in your future
Really?
news. Yes, but at the same time, I also refocused and like, what can Olga do about this? So I am going to embark on the whole journey of making my hips happy again.
Yeah.
So, which will involve exercise and structured program for the hips
Right.
specifically
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
get them back.
Absolutely.
So I have hope and I have a plan
Yeah.
also. So
Good.
I am very excited about that.
Good,
And
good.
how are you?
Wait, are
What's
they
new with
is
you?
it hold on. Is it
Uh-huh.
both of are you dealing with
Both.
both? Okay, so both
Mhm.
of them. Well, it's not just overuse with your hips. It's actually a condition that you've had since you were born, right? That you
That's
didn't
what the
know.
orthopedist told me. He
Okay.
thinks that I have hip dysplasia that was not
Mhm.
diagnosed when I was a child.
Yeah.
And for children, it can be corrected before age of 6 months. But if it's
Oh,
missed, then you will develop like growing pain, hip pain, and unstable hips, unstable hips, where it's like instability with like popping sensations and aches
yeah.
that people experience. But the positive thing about this condition, he asked me this question, so you've always been very flexible, right? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, lucky you.
It's because of this condition apparently. So I
Okay.
have
Wow.
yeah, it's interesting for
Yeah,
sure.
that is.
But there are a lot of things that I can do to help myself and correct things. Kind
Yeah.
of engage my muscles, because your hips and hip structure is one thing, but your bones do not like help you stand upright. It's the
Mhm.
muscles,
Right,
right?
right, right.
And I kind of dove in deep end about
Yeah,
learning all the things, and um, like using all the exercises
right.
to get muscles into balance. So I'm
Absolutely.
not like
Yeah,
crooked and lopsided. So
absolutely.
that's
I
what I'm
love
going to
it.
focus on.
You know, I love this. I love this
Yes.
focus like tremendously, especially when it comes to strength training, because it's so important when you are strength training, the moves that you're doing them with proper form. And
Hmm.
if you're having difficulty with proper form, many times it has to do with imbalances in your muscles. So you
Hmm.
may have some muscles stronger than others. There's a pull going in the wrong direction,
Yes.
misalignment. So I'm all about this. I love it. Yes. And to everybody listening, all of us, just as a reminder, you want to have strong joints, you have to have strong muscles. And so
Hmm.
absolutely you can do that. You can strengthen your joints and your all of your joints through strength training. Um, because I remember back when all I did was run. That was before
Hmm.
before
Hmm.
my experience and knowledge when it came to strength training, and wow, did I have problems. I had a lot of problems with my knees and my hips because I wasn't strength training. I was just, wearing out my joints. I don't have
Hmm.
nearly as many problems these days because of my strength training for years. So, yeah, I love that. So, such a great reminder that we need to strengthen our joints.
Yeah.
So what's going on? I thought about you yesterday because, well, because I've had, my knee injury as
Hmm.
my left knee has been so annoying, but I had those 3 injections that was,
Hmm.
adding the hyaluronic acid in there, which
Hmm.
is a natural substance that our body already produces. And I hadn't gotten the relief that I hoped for, but I
Hmm.
guarantee you that it's not nearly as bad as it was. And I don't know if it's because I haven't been running for a long time. But anyway, I digress. I went rollerblading, not rollerblading, roller skating the other
Hmm.
day. It was yesterday, day before yesterday. And I hadn't done that in months. And my knee did great, fine. But funny thing, the next day, my hips, I never have felt my hips in my life like that, and I thought of you. I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, walking with like this is kind of uncomfortable. Maybe this is what Olga was talking."
Yeah.
I'm feeling better today. I had a very long walk. My hips are fine, but man, the day after roller skating and having not roller skated in a long time, you use your hips a lot. Do you roller skate?
I do not. I did ice
Okay.
skating a long time ago, but never roller skates.
Okay, well, there's some
Skated before.
serious hip motion happening
Yeah.
with roller skating.
Yes. No,
Didn't
for sure. And
realize.
I'm sure a lot of women can relate to knee pain and hip pain. And what do you do about this? And
Yeah,
a structured program with someone who understands muscles and how to develop them
yeah,
holistically, not just
very.
engage in half of your body
Yes,
or half of
yes,
your muscles, because
yes.
there's all these little small muscles that we never use, and I didn't
Right.
realize that I didn't use them. I
Yes.
thought I was like, oh,
Totally,
I love yoga
totally.
and I love
Mhm.
this and that, and apparently I did not use a lot of my muscles. So,
Right. It's so important. I mean, I'm thinking
mhm,
about things like people who aren't doing their squats properly because of
mhm.
that, but everybody's body and anatomically we're different, so we can't all move the same either. So, yeah, anyway, we could talk about that forever,
Yeah,
but that's
I
not what
love
this
that.
episode is about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, other than that, the holidays are coming
Yes.
and all the fun stuff that come with it. And I think there's going to be a lot to discuss today. So rather than going off on talking about anything else, because I know we could talk about everything, you and I get on the phone and
Mhm,
we talk forever.
mhm.
um, I think we should just dive into this topic. What do you think?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, let's do it. So, I thought it would be a great idea to talk about what I have seen are the most common specific concerns and questions
Mhm,
that women, and I am going to say women over 40 because that's pretty much that's the group of ladies that I coach, and I think many of the
mhm,
ladies that you coach as well.
mhm,
That this is the ladies over 40 because we've got things happening that younger ladies don't have going on, which is the hormonal thing, and that is important,
mhm,
and we do need to take that into consideration, the hormone shift. But anyway, these are the most. I grabbed a few of the most common questions, concerns regarding alcohol during the holidays
mhm,
so that we can, that this is what women want and they're reflecting on their desire to balance enjoyment and maintaining their health and fitness goals, and also with the consideration of alcohol during the holidays. So, is it okay with you? I thought I would just ask you. I've got, I think, 5 or 6 main concerns, questions that women over 40
mhm.
ask about alcohol in the holidays. Why don't we just go through each of those and have a
Yeah.
discussion and then give some helpful strategies on how to handle it? What do you
Yeah,
think?
totally. Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. So, the first question is, how can I enjoy alcohol without sabotaging my goals? And when I mean goals, talking about, is it possible to drink and still lose fat? What are some of the best low calorie alcohol options? And how do I track alcohol accurately in my food log? So, because I think that this is important that women are going to ask this question. What do you think about that? Enjoying alcohol without sabotaging goals.
So, thank you for that question. I think number one thing is we all are different. We have very different metabolisms. Like some people can sort of handle the liquor better than somebody else. And for us, women over 40, I noticed when I was drinking, even if I had a glass of wine or two glasses of wine, it would take me probably couple days to even feel human again after that. So because alcohol interrupts so many processes in our bodies, and as we're getting older, like your sleep is interrupted. I'm sure that after a couple of drinks, many women experience, like I experienced, waking up like at 2 or 3 a.m., almost like in a panic where I was like, oh, why did I drink so much? Right? That question. It's because all of my hormones have been interrupted by alcohol. So the question is, how do I really want to feel? And how much alcohol do I want to have? Right? So if you're a person who have has a drink and then not sleeping for a couple days, do you want to do something different this holiday season and experiment with fun mocktails? And maybe if you put in like, I don't know, 2 shots of vodka in a cocktail, maybe decrease it by one or half. So you're still participating, but not to that extent.
So are you saying that it's still possible to enjoy alcohol without sabotaging your fat loss goal? So what I hear
Mm-hmm.
you saying is that instead of having 2 shots in that cocktail, have
Mm-hmm.
1? That's
Yes,
one way to do it?
you can for sure. And then maybe you have one cocktail and then plan on having two or three mocktails after. So you
Mhm.
still have a pretty drink in your hand and you enjoying it, but you are still maintaining your goals,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, but you want to figure out, you want to plan. That's what I'm really my message is. You want to plan ahead.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna go into a party and like, well, I hope it works out.
Mhm.
Because if I'm looking back at how it worked out before, like some parties I barely remember,
Okay.
right?
So
So
what
having a
it sounds like
plan.
plan ahead.
Mhm.
So if you are working on your fat loss and
Yes.
you are gonna go to an event, a party, and you're gonna consume some alcohol, maybe pre-track what you're going to drink. You make a plan ahead
Yes.
of time. Like, I am going to go into your tracker, put
Mhm.
in 1 ounce. It's usually an ounce and a half, though. Everybody needs to know that a shot glass when
Mhm.
they throw that in there, and a lot of times it's more than that because they don't measure.
Mhm.
They just do like, wee.
Yeah.
Um, but you can plan ahead. I love that because that's putting the power in your hands and you can choose and you can see. Because then when you plan ahead like that, you actually see the calories on your tracker and you might think twice about having 2 shots or 3 shots or 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers. Look at how many calories are racking up on your tracker. So I love
Yes.
that. That's a
But
huge
I'll
thing.
thank you for mentioning calories. So alcohol is not just the empty calories. Alcohol does a lot more than that in the body.
Mhm. Right.
When you drink, you interrupting digestion as a process and
Okay.
absorption of vitamins when you choose to add alcohol to the mix. When you drinking it, you will, statistically speaking and from personal experience, you
Yes.
will eat a lot more because your body
Okay.
will think that it's hunger that you're feeling,
Yeah.
because your digestion pretty much slows down so much because your liver is processing alcohol, detoxing
Mhm.
your body. As soon as your body senses alcohol, liver goes into processing it. So your digestive process stops,
Yeah.
and the blood sugar control and the digestion, like release of blood sugar in your bloodstream and all of that, kind of slows down. So your
Mhm.
body thinks that you are hungry, even though you're
Mhm.
eating all evening long
Yeah.
as you drinking alcohol. So to when we're talking about alcohol, there's so much more
Yeah,
to
there's
it.
more to it than just calories in, calories out. I love that you
Yes.
said that because I think it's easy to just dismiss it as just they're just calories. They're not just calories. They're the
Hmm.
calories that your body has to process first because, well, alcohol is a poison. So your liver is going, "Whoa, watch out. We need to process this. We need to cleanse the body of these toxins first before we actually digest the foods that are coming in." So
Exactly.
that's huge, especially if you do overindulge in alcohol. Now your body's going to be taking a long time to be processing those toxins before it even touches the nutrients. And we're probably losing nutrients. Yes. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes.
Because we're not actually going to be absorbing all the nutrients if our body is so busy trying to process the toxin.
Yes, and as a nurse working in the hospital, I worked in the ICU, taking care of a lot of people that came in with alcohol intoxication or just alcohol in their system. And most of the time, the doctors would order banana bag, which, if you watch shows like Grey's Anatomy or other shows,
Yeah.
you will see
Yeah.
those banana bags that
Yes.
even the doctors themselves in the show were using. And the ingredients of the banana bag is your electrolytes and like magnesium. It also has all these different B vitamins
Mhm. It has, like, all the
because
nutrients, all the micronutrients that your
they're
body right now
wasted.
is lacking, yes. Oh, and
Yes.
let's just also for everybody who's not a nurse, banana
Hmm.
bag is gonna be the fluids that they're gonna put into your body via an
IV.
IV. Okay,
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
because I
Oh,
know
thank
there some
you
people don't know
for
those things. I mean
I
Like a
appreciate
banana
that.
bag. What do you do with a banana bag?
I know, right? Do you eat a lot of bananas? Maybe, maybe. But going back to that, like, so alcohol is not just calories. There's so much interruption of regular processes of digestion, especially, and blood sugar. And
Yeah.
a lot of the time, you start to put on weight and like extra fluid in your tissues
Mm-hmm.
because alcohol also dehydrates you.
Yeah.
So the body is kind of like preparing, like it doesn't know how much more alcohol is coming. So it will hold on to the water in your tissues. So you will be kind of swollen.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the morning, especially like over the holidays, you will feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's a lot of water in your tissues. And this is the reason why your body is trying to protect you by
Okay.
retaining that water.
So, since you're talking about that, let's talk about the next question. It pretty much leads right into that is how
Mhm.
much is too much when it comes to taking in alcohol? And I know it's going to be different for each person, but how can somebody know what too much is? How do you know
Yeah.
when you've crossed that line between moderation and overindulgence?
Okay. So, well, number one thing is society has a lot of judgments with when it comes to alcohol. We have normal drinkers and alcoholics, and there's pretty much nothing in between. And if you ask yourself this question, like, oh, am I drinking too much or what's wrong with me? That means something is really wrong and I'm probably an alcoholic. I don't subscribe to any of that. So I can just say that when it comes to alcohol, if we put all the judgment aside, like no judgment and no feelings, because I know we all have a lot of feelings when it comes to alcohol, but if we set it aside, science says, okay, not Olga, not Anna, science, that
Mhm.
no amount of alcohol is safe for the body.
Okay.
At the same time, there are other things that we're consuming that are not really safe, but we're still consuming it, right? So we have a lot of things, that kind of can affect the body in negative ways, and alcohol is one of them. It crosses blood brain barrier very quickly and kills your cells in your brain, which has been scientifically proven. The thing is, if you have really robust, liver that can protect you really well, you can metabolize alcohol pretty well if you're younger, right? But for us, women over 40, everything kind of slows down.
Yes.
And alcohol irritates everything, like from like our mouth to our anus, plus our brain. So is it safe? No, it's not safe. But it's part of life. There are things that are not safe, but we do it because we love it,
Yeah, so
right?
when you said that, I'm like, "Give me some examples," because, there just seems to be this idea that alcohol is in its own category. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? So tell
I
give me some examples.
Well, I don't know why this came to mind. Like people inject like Botox, and things,
Oh, okay.
or lip fillers, or breast implants,
I
or
have
what
breast
have
implants.
you. Well, but what I'm
You're
talking
saying,
about
like, there's no
is
judgment. It's that it's
no
not in a
judgment.
category of its own. There's a lot of toxins that we consume regularly throughout our lives.
It can be in your water, it can be in your food, like pesticides are everywhere, right? Like we can't really go through life freaking out over every little thing. But looking at alcohol and knowing that it is not safe, right? And I want to either reduce the consumption or maybe play with something different lifestyle, like
Mhm.
sober curious movement is out there.
It
Mocktails are
is.
popular, it's everywhere.
It's moving. I love it.
Yes, and more people discovering this life. There's so many celebrities advocating for it, right? So, what is too much? Like, you have to kind of see what your health goals are. Like for me, I'm over 40, right? And I just went to orthopedist who told me I have
Mhm.
hip issues, probably joint replacement, all of that. So my focus, I really want to maintain what I have in my
Yes.
body,
Yeah.
like all of my brain
Everything.
cells,
Yeah, all the
all of
tissues.
my tissues. Like I want my digestion to work well. I want to
Right.
prevent cancer to the
Yeah.
best of my ability.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
like all of that. So, when I'm drinking something, like if I choose to drink alcohol, right? I'm like,
It's
it's
going to
going
affect all those
against,
things.
yeah, and it's
Yes.
going against what I really want.
Yeah.
So, it's like, I choose not to participate in it anymore. But you know, like cigarettes used to be very popular and doctors used to prescribe it for anxiety, right? Like we
That's
change.
crazy. Yeah.
It used to be like mental, cigarette is the best friend or whatever.
Relax. Go
Yeah,
have a
it's all that
cigarette.
marketing. Yes. So it's like number one thing is just take judgment out of that and become curious. And what do you want
Right.
to
What do you
have?
want? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and I'm thinking when you say that, if it was me, I don't know, a few years ago, the
Hmm.
question that I would ask is I would be like, well, that sounds really restrictive. Like that sounds very all or nothing. Are
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
sure? Like
Totally.
how can I get to that place? That sounds like I don't know. I've been doing this and having alcohol my life.
Yeah.
Um, like it's just part of life. Come on, let's
Yeah.
get real. Everybody,
Yeah.
I know though, thankfully it seems like there tends to be more awareness around it.
Mhm.
There has been a trend of people going sober,
Mhm.
eliminating alcohol from their lives, but it's still for a majority of people, that's real extreme. You're saying like to just eliminate it.
No, don't eliminate it per se. I want you to play with it. In a way, like become curious and see what if I give myself a gift, give my body and mind a gift and take a break. It's
Okay.
not forever. I
Yeah.
just want to see how it will make me feel
Yeah.
if I don't have alcohol in everything I do, because for
Yeah.
me that was the case. Like anything, alcohol was always there. And I
Right.
never
Especially holidays.
experienced, yes, and I never experienced life without it. So I had no idea how I'm gonna feel.
So how about a challenge of like one of the days that's a big deal holiday this year? Maybe
Hmm.
it's a traditional family gathering. Maybe
Mm.
challenge yourself to go without having any alcohol during this holiday, that particular event, right?
Yes, but
That
become
sounds
really
scary, doesn't
curious.
it?
The
It
best,
sounds
like,
scary, like, "Oh,
yeah,
what if I can't do this?" Like, that sounds, like, scary. I'm just, like, putting some realness
yes,
here. It's like, I've
yeah,
been having alcohol every year we have this Christmas dinner with the whole family, and we all bring alcohol. How in the hell am I gonna do this, right? Like, that's really
yes,
scary. Like, I'm just bringing, like, reality.
yes,
So
no, for sure.
let's talk about that specific, like, situation because that could happen. Like, you want to be curious, you want to experiment, and
Mm,
there's nothing like actually doing the thing, like, trying to do a mock-up of that ain't gonna happen, like, you can't
mhm,
just be like, "I'm just gonna pretend like it's a holiday event and huge I'm gonna do without the alcohol." Like, you really need to experience that holiday event with that curiosity and how you
mhm.
can go about that. Can we discuss, like, a strategy, a plan
Yes.
to try this?
Yeah, I love what you said, plan. That's like my favorite. I used to go through life like, I hope I'll start to exercise. I will probably do this. Well, maybe, yeah, maybe I will
Oh,
do it,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Maybe.
so on.
I hope so. One
I
day.
hope so. One day, yes, maybe next month, maybe after all the holidays are
Yeah,
over.
maybe after the holidays, yeah.
Yes, and oh my goodness, for sure. So
But you know what?
I,
I know you're
uh-huh.
gonna give a great answer to what I just asked, but this is just so key to making pivotal and impactful life-changing things happen,
Mhm.
to do them in spite of those obstacles that you keep on bringing up, in spite of those excuses. You have to do them during those excuses, or else you never get past it. You never are gonna be successful unless you actually take action during those times when it seems like that's the hard time and I can't do it. Well, that's why you're not doing it. I just wanted to say that because it's for all of
Mhm.
us. If we
Mhm.
really want to make a change, we have to do it in spite of those obstacles, in spite of the things that seem impossible. So
Yes.
let's talk about a plan and a strategy. Let's make
Yeah.
up a scenario because I can think of a million, but like you
Yeah.
go.
I almost feel like could I kind of want to challenge you. I want you
Me?
to
You want to challenge me?
yes,
Oh, let's go.
yes.
I
Okay.
love a challenge.
Okay, I want to challenge you to go back like couple
Okay.
years ago.
Like back
Okay?
whenever I was
Back when you
experimenting and struggling
yes.
with wanting to eliminate it completely.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going back in time. Here I go.
When you thought, "Oh my gosh, alcohol is fun." You probably had that thought. I know I
Oh,
did
sure.
all the time.
Never.
Alcohol is fun.
It's fun.
It
It makes it
I
fun.
am
Yes.
more fun when I
Well, I
drink
never thought
alcohol.
that one, but I know
I
a lot of
did.
people do.
I did. Oh my gosh. I thought I would just like this Olga who is loosey goosey will show up, the party
Yeah.
animal,
No, Anna's loosey goosey no matter what. So you add
Yes.
alcohol to that equation and it's even more wild.
Yes. Yes. But okay. So let's say that can you go back in your
I
mind to
can
that
do this.
time?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
can do it like this. I
Yes, I'm
remember
there.
all the
I'm right there right now. Let's go.
remember what your focus was like when it comes to
Yes,
alcohol, like in
I remember.
holidays.
Mhm.
What were you thinking about?
I was thinking I needed a buzz so I
Hmm.
could relax and deal with all the stress.
Yes. Yes,
So that
exactly.
now I wasn't thinking I wanna get drunk. I
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
hated that, but
Yeah.
I wanted to feel like a little chill, a little tingle. I
Mhm.
wanted to have the buzz, and I wanted to keep the buzz going, like, steady, so that I didn't have
Mhm.
to feel stressed out about anything or anybody. That's where I was.
Yes, to kinda, like, just escape reality
Yeah.
in a
It
way.
isn't
Mhm.
even yeah, maybe. I didn't know that at the
Enhance
time.
it.
No, I it was really about, like, I wanted to have a buzz, and I'm gonna be straight up honest with you,
Mhm.
I would start that before the party.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Girl,
Of
I would have a
course.
drink, maybe even
Pre-game.
2. Nobody needed to know that about it, like, I was gonna have a drink. Yes, the
Yes.
pre-game drink.
Yes, you and me both. Yes. Okay, so let me ask you this. Like,
Okay.
when you decided, "Okay, I really don't like the way it makes me feel," right? Or you had a thought like, "I just really want to take a break because when I took a break before, I felt really good." I think that was true for you, right?
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, I felt like it
Yeah.
was my true self. I felt almost like there was a relief of being free and not feel like I was hiding something, and,
Mhm.
I felt a certain amount of, a little, some streak of shame and guilt because if I'm having to do anything privately and it's
Mhm.
not the private kinda thing where, like, I was, binging on something, it was just the
Yeah.
fact that I would do it before the get together, like, nobody needed to know I had a drink, but still, that little thing that I did created this sense of guilt and shame that
Yeah.
now I can look back on and see, but I didn't realize at the time, but I knew that when I went through long periods of not drinking alcohol, I felt so much more in the essence of who I really am and really
Mhm.
felt healthy, strong, clear-minded, clarity,
Yeah.
focus. Yeah.
So now, could you think of like three obstacles, the top ones that kind of prevented you before from like taking a break during holidays? Like it could be people's comments, like, come on, don't be a buzzkill, like, don't
No,
be a bore.
that really did not that's not I'm not a peer pressure, that didn't bug me at all. I can go through a party and somebody tell me, "Eat this cheesecake," and I'm like, "I don't want it. I'm fine. I don't need it. I don't" Same thing with
Mhm,
alcohol. I didn't feel, I don't think I did, except I can specifically remember one time,
mhm,
at a show while during one of the times I was doing an experimentation without alcohol, like the experiment, and I had a
mhm,
show and had a friend show up. Excuse me, I can't clear my throat. And yeah, that time I saw myself with peer pressure and I
mhm,
gave in. Um,
mhm.
and it
Yeah,
was really not something that I thought about. Like
mhm,
it was like I didn't take a pause to really think about it. Like, I didn't wanna think about it. I just kinda went, "Oh,
mhm.
it's just I'll start again tomorrow," or,
Okay.
she's here. I'm gonna have a drink with her." Like, that's
Yeah.
how I felt.
Yeah.
Does that answer
Yeah,
kind
yeah, for
of?
sure. But like, what are the three top obstacles were for you? Like for me, it was like I didn't want to be boring.
Well,
I
that was not
really,
mine.
I felt like people will ask me questions, and I did not want to participate in any of that
I would
answering
say
business.
right.
Yeah.
For me, I would say the obstacle was I liked that feeling. I liked the
Mm-hmm.
feeling of being that little buzz feeling.
Yeah.
I almost kind of feel like that was like an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
It was something my brain was craving,
Mm-hmm.
and that bothered me the most because I would take breaks, but then that craving would happen and I
Mm-hmm.
would give in, and I wondered, "Man, like, why couldn't I just." But I know now as I've learned, but that was one of the
Mm-hmm.
obstacles I felt like was one of them, and then the other one, um, was and it the one about being participating with everybody, that one was
Yeah.
not big because I learned how to participate with everybody and my fancy glass and my fancy drink that nobody knew what I was having. I knew how to overcome that one.
Uh-huh.
I had another obstacle. I'm trying to remember what that was. I think one of them was this idea that it's just always been part of my life, my culture.
Mhm.
I grew
Mhm.
up with a Spanish mother who we always had,
Mhm.
vino y
Yeah.
cerveza.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
just part of ingrained culture inside of
Yeah.
me. And it was
Yeah.
really hard to let go
Mhm.
of that part because
Yeah.
I felt like it was part of who I was.
Yeah.
I think that was a pretty big obstacle. I couldn't imagine my life with, void of the alcohol because it's always been in my culture
Yeah.
and my life, and it was just ingrained. It's part of every barbecue party, every get together.
Mhm.
That was to me an obstacle, and I felt like by doing like eliminating that, I felt like, I'm not an all or nothing person. I fight against being an all or nothing person. So I don't
Mhm.
want to be an all or nothing person and make this part of the all or nothing. But there was a shift in my thinking later, to
Mhm.
where it had less to do with the all or nothing thinking and more to do with being a healthy
Yeah.
person, healthy
Yeah.
body and mind.
Yeah. So those are, you really hit it, the nail on the head. Is that the
Oh, yeah,
expression?
I won. I
Where
passed the test.
you have those, the buzz feeling. We all experience it. It's not just unique to you, because that buzz feeling is dopamine. Alcohol helps our brain, like it goes into the pleasure center and releases a lot of dopamine, like very quickly.
Yeah,
So when you feel like
I liked
anxious or
that.
stressed out, or you two in your head, any of those negative, emotions that we don't like to feel, right?
Yeah,
Feelings, emotions.
yeah,
Alcohol is a very quick fix for that. When you have a drink, boom, your frontal
you get
lobe
it.
of your brain just shuts down,
Yeah,
and you
it's a
feel this
relief.
relief from me and my
Mhm.
head and my
Yeah,
thoughts and my critic, or what I
get out
need
of
to
my
do,
head.
like all of that. It would help to get out of my head.
Mhm.
And I trained myself, and I was trained for a very long time, my whole life, to use alcohol for that. I
Yes.
outsourced it. Like
Yeah.
now we send everything to China and they make it for us. But alcohol was my China,
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
where I outsourced it, my fun, my relaxation, and everything to alcohol. And the
Yeah.
thing is, if that buzz was, it's sort of positive of alcohol is that buzz, and we need to talk about it. But that's all great. But when you think about what happens inside of my body and mind after,
Yeah.
right, we get rebounded anxiety, we have
Mhm.
so much stress, we
Yeah.
have that sleep disturbance, digestion disturbance, like our brain cells are literally dying. We make
Yeah.
really terrible decisions when it comes to eating or drinking more, or what we say to whom, what we do, how we show up
Yeah.
or don't show up for our children, our family, all of that.
Yeah.
Like if we decide to just drink and drive, oh, I'm fine. I only had two and then gallon of water. I'm fine, right? Are
Yeah.
you really fine? Like alcohol has all of those negative effects, right?
Mhm.
But taking the judgment out of that, The buzz is fun, but what is more important? How do I
Mm-hmm.
want to feel, right? And then belonging to a group, that's very important to us. So I love how you said having a fancy glass, and I don't need to tell anyone what's in my glass,
Mm-hmm.
so I can fit in. That's really great plan for that second
That's a great
obstacle.
plan. Yeah.
hmm And then not having wine or vino, how you said, as part of my culture.
Yeah.
That's like a huge
That
thing.
one's
How did you
huge.
how did you like overcome that obstacle? Because I'm curious now.
Yeah, I guess it was just an eye-opening concept that I think some of this was what I had read in the book This Naked Mind by Annie
hmm
Grace, and
Yeah.
also discussions that you and I have had, like
Mm-hmm.
just that, oh my gosh, the realization that I have been brainwashed to
Mm-hmm.
believe that alcohol is just something everybody does, all families do. It's part of our American culture, blah blah blah, whatever. I was
Mm-hmm.
like I'm like, "Whoa, I have been brainwashed." Like
Yeah.
it's not normal. It's not
Yeah.
that's not the intention. That's not the best way of our bodies to live and like, and then I just started to see it more and more when I was
Yeah.
around other people. Like, it seems like they wouldn't have a get together or a party or anything without discussing the alcohol. We're gonna have a
Mm-hmm.
keg here. Oh, and there's beer, wine, alcohol is at every event, every restaurant. You and I have talked about this. There's a
Mm-hmm.
shrine to the alcohol. Like those bars
Mm-hmm.
are beautiful. The
Mm-hmm.
glass, the lighting, it's gorgeous. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
every restaurant with these huge bars. It's just another part of that brainwashing there that
Mm-hmm.
we have as a culture have, you know, like we've just elevated alcohol. It's like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. I love that what you said.
And it's
Uh,
like I started to just open my eyes to it and I thought, wow, I've been brainwashed. And then I started realizing I wanted moderation, Olga. I wanted
mhm.
to be able to enjoy a drink when I say I want to have it
Yeah.
and then not have it whenever I don't want it. I wanted
Mhm.
to have full control of that.
Yeah.
And I believe I had a lot of control over it. I really
Mhm.
do. But at the same time, there was still a hook. There was still a hook.
Mhm.
Why? Because I had to make a decision. Was I going to have alcohol at this party or not? How many
Mhm.
drinks was I going to have when I go to this party?
Mhm.
What do I want? And it was like, oh my God, that is taking up way too much energy in my brain. Why do I even have to make these decisions? It's not even that big of a deal. Bet
Mhm.
wow, what would life be like if I didn't even have to think about that or decide that?
Oh my
You
gosh.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
energy
Yes.
wasted. I can just live
Yes.
without it, and then it's not a decision anymore. Like,
Yeah.
these kind of things. I have worked through like, you and I, you too, we've worked
Yeah.
through all these thoughts, and it's different for every person, but I think also understanding, like, when did I wanna have alcohol? When I felt like things were stressful and I
Uh-huh.
wanted that relax. And then I
Mhm.
thought, man, I started getting more and more wanting that. And then I was
Mhm.
realizing, wow, this isn't healthy for my body, especially
Mhm.
as I'm aging. It's not. And I would also have sleep disturbances and not sleep well. And then
Mhm.
that's impacting. And then I thought, how is this impacting my fitness and my
Mhm.
body and my health? And I want to have optimal health and optimal fitness. I'm like, well, I can still have alcohol and I'll just drink a lot of water, recover well, rest. But still, like, why am I doing that? I didn't
Mhm.
want to do that to my body. But this idea that it was gonna help me relax because things were stressful, I thought, "Wow, I'm relying on that? I wanna have
Mhm.
real power. I wanna be aware of my emotions, and then I want to find tools to navigate problems in life, stressful situations in life, and not feel a need to have some kind of mind-altering substance to do it with."
Yes.
Wow, that was a
I love
mouthful.
that. I love that. And you know what, you said something right now. You said, how will I deal with problems in life, right? And I just had this thought. Who doesn't have problems? We always imagine
You
this
know what the
time,
biggest the biggest
this time,
problem.
yeah, like we imagine this time when Olga is never gonna have like time where Olga is problem free. Where is
Yeah,
that
if
gonna
you're
be?
problem free, then you're dead.
Yes, exactly. Like, problems are a sign of life. Problems a
Exactly.
sign of living.
Yeah.
And more problems you have, more things you're doing with
Yeah.
your life. So you ought to be proud of yourself, instead of like, oh my gosh, I have
There's always
problems.
going to be another problem.
Yes.
Always.
But the thing is, the big problem with alcohol is that it's easy to pick up a drink. Like, I feel anxious, I have a drink,
Yeah,
instant
it's
instant gratification, I feel better and calm down. The thing is, I will pay for it. I will pay for it maybe in an hour, in 2 hours, maybe I'll pay for it next day and day after. So it's like, do I want to learn and pick up new skills of how to manage my emotions and how to be me, or how to just grab something that's easy but has all these negative effects? And for me, I really wanted to manage my emotions and have
yeah.
fun, get loose, have the best time, and connect with my family and friends, and show up as who I am at all
Yeah.
times,
Right.
drive anywhere, anytime. I had this like horrible vision in my brain when I used to drink in the evening. What if somebody has like appendicitis? That nursing brain that's
Yeah. What if somebody needs me in
imagining,
an emergency?
worst case scenario. And I'm
Oh,
like, how am I gonna like drive my child to a hospital? Like, that thought
wow.
used to terrify me.
That's
So
terrifying.
I really wanted to do something different. And when I learned about the brainwashing and marketing and the culture and all of that, I too went like, there was a light that went on in my brain. I'm like, I'm not going to be controlled.
That
I
is a
want my
control. I'm going to have rebellion. I'm rebelling against this control. I'm going to have full
yes.
freedom.
But I also wanted to just, I want to know what Olga wants,
Yeah.
not wants what somebody who told me to drink and enjoy it and that it's fun. Like, I want to form my own beliefs, and I want to see what
Yeah.
I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to create a life where I did not need a pacifier in the form of alcohol everywhere I went. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't
It's
want
funny,
it.
right? Because people think they have this idea that they're free to have a drink, but the truth
Yeah.
is it's taking away your freedom. It is taking away your
Yes.
freedom.
Yes.
And I feel more free today. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm a performer. I'm an entertainer. And
Mhm.
even, on the times whenever I would have a show and I would have a drink or two, like no big deal, but I will tell you, since eliminating alcohol, I am I have maximized my performance ability, my
Yeah.
stamina, my energy. I'm
Mhm.
fully alive and fully myself. It is so freeing. And
Yeah.
I don't and people don't even realize, like, they don't know. They don't even nobody's even questioning. They don't question me. Sometimes they will, like, "Oh, you're not drinking. Okay, well, I can see because 'cause you're a fitness person." Like, it's very rare, but
Fitness person.
you're fitness. Look at your muscles, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I just, you know, I'm so like I look back on all this and it's like, wow, you can really eliminate this thing from your life and it brings true freedom and it's freeing. But you go through the process. There's a lot of learning along the way and you
Yes.
learn how to navigate it. And
Yes.
actually,
Totally.
interestingly enough, these days, more people are beginning to respect your choice to not have an alcoholic beverage.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah,
like it used to be.
I noticed it. Yeah,
You did notice too,
I
right?
did,
And
yes.
it's almost as if those people who aren't respecting, then you can see it's like, okay, true colors, right?
Yeah.
Even family members who don't respect it, like, well, we don't have we can limit how much time we spend around them, but we don't need to live our lives and conduct ourselves based on what other people think. We can make you know, these
Yeah,
decisions, these conscious decisions for our health and I know we're, like, not really talking a lot about the holidays, but it's like we can think
but
about
we
these
are.
things for the holidays. We are.
Yes,
It's
being free
important.
during holidays, being
Yes.
you and connecting with your families, because
Yeah.
I used to think that alcohol helped me be true to my, like, true Olga would show up, like my real self will show up.
With
But if you
alcohol.
with alcohol. But if you showed me a video of the true my real self, I would be horrified. I'd be like, who is that? Why is she
You
doing
mean
this
with
stuff
alcohol?
with alcohol?
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Oh,
So
I'll
what I'm
tell you right now, if I've
like,
seen videos with myself in alcohol, even if I wasn't drunk, there was a difference. There was a
there's a
difference.
difference, even
It
if
is
a
not
couple
a
of
it's
drinks.
not attractive to me. It is so
No.
off-putting.
Yes, but I had this belief that alcohol make me better, like in a way, like that I would like really loosen up. But that version of me, I don't know who that was really, because
Yeah, but I
yeah,
wanna this brings me to a point that you mentioned earlier that I wanna highlight this. This I think is, like, huge, very important. You've said it a few times, but I really wanna put a spotlight on this concept about removing the judgment, because right now,
mhm,
when I think about that person drinking alcohol, my past self, I
yeah,
do have judgment. I'm like, ugh. No,
uh-huh,
but
yeah, yeah,
not I
yeah,
don't feel that way about other people drinking it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
myself, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I
Like,
do, I
what do you
do.
have you gotten
So,
past it? How do you feel about
so
that? How
I
can we
have.
remove that judgment?
So I look at myself. I really like to talk about myself in the third person. Some people think that it's really funny. Some people don't get it, but the point of talking about yourself in the third person, it gives you like a outsider perspective where you can look as an outsider at yourself. When I look at Olga,
Mhm.
like few years ago,
Yeah.
where she, got all dressed up, dolled up, and she went to Christmas party, and she was drinking quite a bit. She was very social. She was dancing, sort of talking to a lot of people she thought she was connecting with. She could not remember any names or faces later. And Olga doesn't really know how she went to bed, and she woke up the next day just feeling horrible, like horrible. Like I could not remember. Like we stayed in a fancy hotel, and we just came to our hotel room and just passed out pretty much.
Mhm.
And that was a typical big party scene from Olga's life, right? When
Okay.
I'm looking at her, all I have is compassion,
Mm.
because I
Yeah.
really want to go back into that hotel room or that party and give her a big hug and just tell her it's okay.
Oh my
It's
god.
okay. You didn't know better. You sort of knew it, but you were trying to fit in. You were trying to people please. You were trying to be social, and you thought that was the right thing to do.
Wow, Olga,
You were,
that's a very moving. That's very touching.
and I really want to be
Yeah.
here for that that version of me from previous past life, because I
Wow,
feel so
that's
much
so good.
compassion and
Yeah,
love for her.
that's so good, yeah.
And I can tell you that this is a huge thing for me, and what I like coach people on as well, is like that big self-critic. I used to be, I would tell people I'm so hard on myself. Like if I
Yeah.
made a mistake, I would beat myself up in my
Like it
head,
was a
and
badge of honor
badge of
to
honor. And I was so terrible to myself, where I
mm,
would tell people literally like if I made a mistake with you, I would tell you like, Anna, please don't even say anything, because I feel
I've
so
alr
horrible. I beat
yeah.
myself so much up. Like I don't need you to like, because that will just push me over the edge. I don't know what that edge
Wow.
was, but that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
But I was also proud of it.
So, so relatable. Wow.
And I can just tell you that once I figured out how to like really look at all of that, examine
Yeah.
and pick up tools that I needed, and relearn how to truly manage my life and my mind and find the compassion for Olga, my whole life changed, because I have not only compassion for me, I have compassion for other people, other humans
Mhm.
beings
Absolutely.
around me.
Yeah. Because people have been brainwashed and believe they need a certain amount of alcohol to enjoy themselves or to be who they think they need to be.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's the part that is like that's where the compassion comes in. It is not a judgment against them. It's like, "Well, I was there. I didn't
Hmm.
know." But
Hmm.
when you start to come to a clear understanding, you can remove the judgment and you can just have that compassion. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. That's very, very, very good. I don't know why that just really moved me when you said that. It made me go back in time and think about myself, and, like, I didn't have any ill intent. I wanted to be a part
No.
of the party. I wanted to
But
have a good time
yeah,
with people
but
and enjoy the
yeah, and
and
that
not
was
even
the
know
reason.
the lack of knowledge.
That was the reason we were choosing alcohol as well, or choosing to have another drink, is because we needed to shut off that critic, that
Mhm.
critical voice that said, your dress is not pretty enough, you don't fit in, your hair looks ridiculous, why did you do this makeup this way, like, where's your lipstick? Oh, that pimple is showing up.
The
Whatever it
the
is for people,
perfectionist.
it's not even perfectionist. It's like we all, like, if you go to any
The
party
self-critic, yeah,
and you
yeah.
look around at
Oh,
people's
goodness.
faces, we all standing there awkward,
Oh
judging
my goodness. I
ourselves
see
in
this
our
all the time.
heads.
Yes, and they'll say it out loud. I don't know when it happened, Olga, but I've removed a judgment from myself. I couldn't
Mhm,
even pinpoint it, but it
mhm,
stands out to me when I'm around other people in groups and parties and get-togethers because it seems like, and I'm gonna just talk about women
mhm,
when I'm talking to women, it's constant, constant
mhm. Yes.
self-judgment, and I'm
Yes.
like, I'm having to hold myself back from from coaching. I'm like, I will, like, say, "Hey, that you look beautiful." Like, "What? Why are
Yeah,
we doing that?" Even
yeah.
like, "Let's take a selfie." "Oh, wait a minute. I gotta," oh, all these things like, "No, let's
Mhm,
just take a picture right now,
mhm.
natural, who we are." Like, no
Yeah,
judgment,
yeah. No, it's because, from very early age, we were socialized to take
Mhm.
care of other people. You're a good girl when you do this. You look good when you do this. Oh, like, why are you so fat or so this or so that? There's so much criticism because growing up where I grew up with my family and in the culture, there was a lot of like advice and
Yeah,
criticism that people would just comment on your weight, comment on your hair, your dress,
right.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they have gave that to us. Do you know
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not something
and
that we're born with.
we accepted it. We received
Yes,
it and we have hung on to
we
that.
didn't know better.
No, we
We didn't
didn't, but
know. So
now we know
now
better.
now doing the work, because it will
Y
take shift, mental shift takes work.
yes,
But
yes.
this mental work, the mental gym,
Mhm.
it's so, my gosh, it's so free and it's so wonderful, where you can actually feel that warm feeling in your heart and your soul when you look at yourself and
Yeah,
not like taking yourself apart.
yeah. Well, this is going, it's going long. I knew it would, and that's fine because I think everything is very relevant, and I know that our listeners, I know some listeners that, deal with this, so, I wanna talk about some more strategies to help
Yeah.
during the holidays. So a couple of few questions that come to mind are, how do we say no to drinks, right, without
Mhm.
feeling that awkwardness or without being
Mhm.
judged or without
Mhm.
being worried that the other person's gonna feel judged because we said no? Like,
Yeah.
that scenario, how can we
Yeah.
navigate that?
Well, number one thing is get out of your own head. Like, number
I'm
one
just asking the
advice,
question.
become like, no, 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 I'm just saying, like, to the listener, like, and this is same advice I give myself. Get out of your own head.
What does that
Get
mean?
like instead of focusing on me, right? And I
Okay.
am like, what am I wearing? What am I looking? What am I saying? What are they thinking about me?
Uh-huh.
I put all of my attention to them.
Okay.
Okay. So when somebody says, "Hey, Olga, you want a drink?" Yes, please. Some sparkling water with, I don't
Yeah.
know, cranberry juice,
Sure. Yeah, I'll
for
take
example,
a
right?
club
Like,
soda with
I'm
lime and a splash of
club soda.
cranberry. That's my
Yes, and you're
favorite.
like, "What? You're not gonna drink? Like, you don't want a real drink?" And I can say, "Oh, no, I would love the club soda with, whatever splash of cranberry juice. Thank you
Yeah.
so much." Right? I don't
Yeah.
need to defend myself or feel awkward. I
No.
do what I want to do, and if there is, like, drink pusher shows up, with your food
Yeah.
pusher, like,
Yes.
I think they're drink pushers too,
The
like,
drink
"Come
pusher.
on, just have one,"
Come
right?
on, Olga.
Like,
Come
"1
on,
won't
Olga.
hurt. Come on, let's party," right? I can just say, "No, thank you."
Yeah.
and I don't need to defend myself or my choices, and then redirect all of the attention to them. How
Mhm.
have you been?
Right.
How's work? How's family? And ask
Good.
them
And
questions
that
and
will
become
help.
curious.
And that will help them to move
Oh,
on because
yes.
they probably don't wanna focus
Redirect.
on it anymore either.
Redirect the attention to them completely. Get out of your own head. Your drinking is about you. Other people's behavior is not about you
Yeah.
at
So
all.
let's talk about what are some ways, because we did talk about how we've gotta manage our stress, and the holidays
Mhm.
tend to bring stress.
Yes.
I'm a big proponent. I've learned in my own personal growth journey that stress is a choice. It does come, like, stressful things happen, but we can choose how we manage it. We're going to have stressful situations. We're going to have stressful emotions and family
Yeah.
drama and all the things that happen in the holidays. So,
Mhm.
what are some tactical tools, some things we can do to manage these stressors
Yes.
when we feel like I just need to have a drink? I
Yes.
just I just need to escape right now. Give me a glass of wine. What do we do
Yes.
instead? How can we do this?
For sure. So, number one thing, what you can do if you like, there's a situation, maybe like stressful situation between you and your mother-in-law, who is constantly making, I don't know, parenting jokes about you or something like somebody triggered you, okay, and
Mhm.
you're like, oh my god, like I am about to something triggered you and you're about to lose it, right? One thing you
Mhm.
can do is I love to excuse myself and leave the room like I'm going to the bathroom. Like
Mhm.
I go to the bathroom. One of the things I can say, I can do is put my hand on my heart
Okay.
and just concentrate on my breathing. Just few breaths, deep
Yeah.
breathing in and out. And as you breathing in and out, you want to feel your heartbeat, and you also want to feel the breath, like cold air is going in. Notice the temperature of your air coming out of your mouth, and do few breaths like that. And then I want you to ask yourself a question. You want your brain to be stimulated by a powerful question that will give you great answers. Okay. So one of my favorite questions is, how can I show more love right now? How can I show more compassion right now? How can I find more joy in this situation? How do I want to be so I can come out of this being proud of myself? What will the best version of me do right now?
Mm.
How can I handle it in a way that it's with compassion?
So
When, yeah, instead of what I used to do. What is wrong with her? What is wrong with me? What the hell is she thinking? And all of those unhelpful questions,
yeah.
because unhelpful questions will give you really unhelpful
Oh,
answers,
yes.
lots
Yeah.
of them. So
Right.
really be careful at
Mm.
what you're asking and find the question that resonates with you. For me, is like, how can I find more joy in this holiday season? In every situation, I can choose to find more joy. There's a whole bunch of family members in the living room. Who do I really want to connect with? Maybe it's my 5-year-old niece that I can, I don't know, play hide and seek with or
Right.
something,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Finding that, like, take yourself out of the stressful situation. That's number one. Take deep breaths, connect with your heart. Just sit there, connect with you. And then also just ask really good questions.
Yeah. I love that. Taking a pause. Take a pause before you say anything or do anything. Just pause.
Hmm.
That's good. That's really good. And I think too, just like what you just said a few minutes ago, what we talked about is when you're feeling that sense of stress and you feel like it was triggered by somebody else, rather than focusing on yourself, because that's usually what happens. We start to feel very self-centered and
Hmm.
self-justified and self.
Hmm.
Well, we wanna go into who is the better version of myself, who can show compassion in spite of being, um, threatened, triggered, whatever. Like, how can
Yeah.
I respond rather than react? These kind of things.
Yeah, I wanted to mention something real quick because this is some concept that I didn't really understand before. It's something new, it's sort of fun. When we go back, especially if you're going back to your parents' house, with your siblings and your parents there. Some people, and I know that I've experienced that plenty of times, I go into dysfunctional version of myself. It's
Mm.
almost like I'm going into a habit of that whoever teenager or younger version of myself that had those all these feelings hurt.
Yeah.
You come in and
Yes.
all of a sudden you don't recognize yourself. You're like, I've done all this work on myself and now I'm acting like I haven't done anything all of a sudden.
Reverting
You're
back.
reverting to that. And I just wanted you to know that it's a thing. And the reason it's there is because it's a habit.
Yeah.
It's like all these people
Yes.
around you, like you behaved certain way around them before. So
Yeah.
before you go back to your childhood home to reconnect with all your siblings that trigger you and make fun of you and call you some nickname that you hate, um, really check in with yourself and remind of yourself like who am I and how do I want to show up? Just being aware that that happens and this is normal,
Yeah.
being aware and creating a plan like, I'm going to just show up and show them compassion. And I'm not my teenage self anymore. I
Yeah.
just think it's really good to be aware that that
Yeah.
happens. It's kind of
Yeah. It's not even
fun.
that like you're better than them or nothing like that. It's just that it's standing up for the person that you are becoming and the growth that
Yes.
you've had.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with other people.
Yeah. Don't
Um,
regress.
yeah, so 2 other things. I know that we're going late, but I feel like this is really valuable. 2 things I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about so if you do choose to partake in alcohol,
Hmm.
let's talk about what kind of things we're gonna deal with after the fact, whether it be physical experience afterwards,
Hmm.
overindulging or having it, and also the emotional side. Can we just quickly touch on what we can do
Yes.
to
Totally. Yeah.
process the physical as well as the mental?
I really encourage anyone who is still drinking alcohol and enjoying it. I think that I really want you to check in with yourself as you're drinking. How are you actually feeling? Notice the way you're speaking. Notice the way you're thinking. Notice like what's really going on. It's hard to do, but it's kind of fun to feel like how is it feeling. The other thing I want you to really focus on the next day when you wake up, please don't ask this question, what is wrong with me? Why couldn't I drink less or eat less or whatever or
Yeah.
behave better?
Yeah.
Like, please drop that question. Show yourself some compassion in a way like, huh, I drink, like become curious
Curious, yeah.
and just ask yourself that question, how can I show more compassion to myself right now? And what did I learn? It could be, vodka is not my friend or whatever it is that you are drinking.
Yeah.
So maybe I will try something different next time. Maybe this experience could start something amazing because your brain is always learning. So, what did you learn last night? How does alcohol actually affect you and your experience? Like, forget about everything you learned, but how do you actually feel? How did this affect you?
Yeah.
Like really, like what are you learning? Because brain is always learning,
Yeah.
and every mistake you can learn from it or you can beat yourself up.
So what do you do? What are some things you can actually physically do that next day? You've overdone it with the alcohol, you've overdone
Hmm.
it with the food. The
Yeah.
next day, what should we be thinking to do for ourselves
Yeah,
when it comes
rest,
to yeah.
rest, a lot of rest, rehydrate for sure, and slowly because you're probably going to feel upset stomach and nausea and all of that. So rehydrate slowly, be compassionate because when you're beating yourself up, you're raising your stress levels even more, and you're already so stressed.
Mhm.
So just some herbal tea if you enjoy that. Anything with antioxidants like berries, and try to stay away from greasy foods. They will really look appealing to you just because your body thinks that you are just really hypoglycemic, which means your blood sugar is low, and the body
Mhm.
is looking for something that's really
Yeah.
fattening quickly, like greasy pizza sounds amazing usually, or whatever. But just know, like when you eating that, it can
Yeah.
make you feel so much worse and upset your stomach even more.
Yeah.
So,
What if somebody says, "Well, I'm gonna fast all day. I'm just gonna drink water and
oh,
fast." What
No,
about
no,
that?
no. Please don't fast, because you increasing your body's stress even more.
Okay, good, good, good.
Really, please eat. You want
Yeah.
to eat mindfully, which means like just eat a little bit at a time and just see how you feel. Check in with
Yeah.
yourself. How am
Yeah.
I feeling? How does this food make me feel?
Right. Not a punishment, like stop eating
Yes,
everything. No. Yeah.
yes.
Nourish your body well.
Nourish your body.
Okay, that was good. Last thing, if we do say, you know what, I really want to experiment. I really want to do some sober curiosity for this holiday season for some of the events. Give us
Mhm.
some ideas of how we can do that, the plan.
Yes. Well, I would love for you to, first of all, visualize the holiday season and choose like one feeling that you want to feel. Like
Like,
focus on it. For example, this holiday season, I really want to just connect and just feel closeness, like connect and belong to something,
or real
just
joy,
real joy.
what
Or I
real
want to
joy is.
real joy is, and the answer is not, it's not alcohol, but like really, what do
Yeah,
you
so
enjoy?
what is the
Yes.
emotion you want to experience this holiday
Yes.
season?
Yes. Don't, like, please, what not to do is don't focus, oh, I'm not drinking. This party is going to be boring. This is stupid. And why am I doing this? Like, that self talk is very normal, but really, like, focus on what you actually want to experience this
Right.
holiday season and find that joy, find that connection, and find something that you actually like doing that's not drinking. Like maybe you want to go skiing, maybe you want to go experience snowshoeing, maybe just playing games like board games, whatever
Yeah.
it is, but really connect and be
Yeah.
there, like be there with your people.
Yeah.
Because we are so often, we spend our lives either in the past rethinking what we've done wrong, or the future, what we're planning on doing, we miss out on actually living, because life is happening in this moment right now, not in the
Yeah.
past or the future.
Right.
So I tell myself a lot, be here right now, be here
Yeah.
right now. I'll bring my
Yeah.
monkey brain back to this
Yes.
moment so I can actually be in my
Mhm.
life versus somewhere else all the time.
Yeah.
That's how I
And
used to
like we
live.
always say, just like Tony Robbins always says, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So like you said, if
Yes.
you're at the event, you're at the holiday party and you start thinking, "Oh, this is going to be boring. Oh my gosh, I can't control myself. Oh my gosh, all the alcohol." Oh, look at what you're focusing on. Let's focus on what we
Mm,
want. Like you said, Olga, focus on what
yes.
you want, how
Yes.
you want to show up, how you want to leave the party, how you want to feel physically, mentally, emotionally. Focus
Yes.
on that. Focus on the joy of the moment. Focus on the joy of having a conversation and getting to know people. Focus on
Yes.
connecting, those kind of
Uh,
things. The focus.
Definitely. And if your mind goes into focusing on your mother-in-law or a father-in-law or your brother who's
Your
making fun of
mother-in-law.
you can refocus.
Refocus.
Take your monkey brain away from that person. There are other people in the room.
Yeah.
Go to
People
somebody you
and,
enjoy.
and something to also let's normalize this, let's embrace it and accept it. When
Yeah.
you're going to make a change, when especially a big change like this, when you are gonna make a change, it's not going to feel it's not gonna feel comfortable.
Yes.
It's gonna
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable. It's going to
Yeah.
feel awkward. If you
Mhm.
decide to have a getaway and you choose on that weekend not to have any alcohol, it's going to feel really weird
Mhm.
because we have habits of mind. And
Mhm.
we are working on changing the habits of mind. It'll feel weird. I've been there, gone on a
Mhm.
getaway weekend, knowing that this weekend I'm choosing that I'm gonna choose no alcohol this weekend, and it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. It will come to mind, but just keep redirecting your focus.
Yes. Keep
It's not
redirecting.
comfortable. It's awkward, and it takes
Yeah.
practice, and it is a habit. Like you said, it's a
Yes.
habit of mind, and we can work on habits.
But
That's the
it's the
beauty of
best
it.
work. It's the best work you can ever do for yourself.
Yeah.
And you'll find the freedom.
Yeah. Well, this has been so awesome. It's always so great when you and I talk and connect. Is there anything as we're wrapping up, any last thoughts about the holidays regarding alcohol for all of us women over 40 that you would like to, just kind of sum things up or share at the end?
I just want to say that whatever you're experiencing right now when it comes to alcohol and all the racing thoughts, like what's wrong with me? Why am I not like so and so and I'm overdoing it? Like I want you to just slow down your brain and just find some compassion for yourself and become super curious of what it is that's possible for you, because I can promise you there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like we're product of our environment.
Yes. Yes.
We are. And there's so many things that are in your control, and alcohol does not have any power. It's
Yeah.
just liquid. It's liquid that's standing in a glass bottle on the counter. It cannot make you do anything. Like you, human, have all the power.
Yeah.
Take it back,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can look at it and see it as, oh, it's the best thing ever, right? Like, oh, it's like my, I don't know, mental health, it's me time. Or you can say, I don't like the way it makes me feel. And you
Yeah.
have that power. You
Right.
can choose for yourself how you view alcohol.
Yeah.
Like I came from, person who focused on alcohol and like, oh, like more the better. But now I'm completely different. Like alcohol does nothing for me. I have no
Yeah.
feelings at all. There's nothing. And I'm
Yeah.
completely free. It's amazing.
It is amazing. I want to remind our listeners, anybody out there, if you feel like you have really been struggling in this area of alcohol, we're not even talking about alcoholism or addiction
Mm-mm.
to alcohol. We're not even talking, we're just talking about you want to moderate or you want to have more control or you
Mhm.
actually do want to eliminate. It doesn't matter where you are on this spectrum with alcohol. I
Mhm.
want to give you hope. Olga wants to give you hope because seriously, we have been there. We understand. We get it. And I want you to understand if that's you and you are struggling, I want you to become aware of that little voice that might be saying to you, yeah, but that's her. I don't think I can do that. That little voice that
Mhm.
says, nah, I don't know. That's you
Mhm.
guys. That's Anna. That's Olga. I'm different. Something's different with me. Just realize there's a little voice in your head that's holding you back. It's called a self-limiting belief, and you absolutely can make changes if you really want to. And we're not special. We have just been working on this and having experiments and sober curiosity when it comes to alcohol. And there's not perfection. There's just progress and learning. So
Mhm.
that's all. Just want to give hope to anybody out there that really, wants to get more curious about their drinking and their habits when it comes to alcohol, and you want changes and you really, really, really want the best, healthiest, fittest, strongest body and mind in your life, and you want to live out the rest of your life after 40 feeling your absolute best. I just want you to know that you can do it. It's up to you. You can do it. So thank you so much, Olga. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time today. It's always a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Anna, for having me. And I'm sending you, all of you listeners, my love. I'm so glad that you're listening to Anna. She's just amazing. I'm listening to her too all the time.
You're so sweet. All right, everybody. Remember self care, self love all day, every day, in all the ways, and just keep on rocking on.